Adam, first things first. We can breathe easy. Safety.
Yeah, we should all be pleased, really, shouldn't we? But I'm annoyed. I didn't think we deserved to lose again. To be honest, I felt when we went out 10 men, which we've obviously just all seen it back. It's not a red card. I didn't think it was a red card at the time, but watched it back, not a red. I felt with 10 men we were the better team second half. They only looked a threat when they played on the break a few times because then Njoku's quick and McCannon on the right hand side. JC made a great block, but John has had nothing to do. Gutted for the players that they've gone and lost it late on. It's a good strike by Gash, but we should be cuter and know he's only going to come in on his strong side. That's just come after their keeper's made a big save off Gabby. We were unlucky with the rebound. We wanted to finish our season at home on a high with a good performance and a win. We didn't get as good a performance as we hoped, and we've obviously lost the game, which is frustrating. But the main objective when obviously we came in was to keep the club up because we were in a right mess, and we've managed to do that. So from that point of view, we're obviously pleased that it's now confirmed. But obviously we're just disappointed with how that game's panned out there in the second half.
Yeah, it was the biggest crowd of the season, which is great, wasn't it? Good atmosphere, but yeah, that would have been nice to sign off with that win.
Yeah, and we need to be better here. There's been quite a few games where we've come off and felt we should have done better, we should have played better. We maybe didn't get results that we deserved. Probably that game, the Darlington one, the Spennymoor ones, that them in particular spring to mind. But it was good that we had a decent crowd on today because we'll need them going forward if we're going to be better next season. Just disappointed that we didn't manage to, get another good result for them. But we've achieved what we needed to achieve. I know I've stood here many times and said, the situation that we were in at the end of September, start of October. Only the people that were in and around it there today knew how bad it was. We were in a right mess, and for us to get where we have to where we are, regardless of whether we're part-time, full-time, it's irrelevant. If you're in that scenario, it's tough to turn around, and we've managed to do it. The players deserve a lot of credit for that. I think this year, I looked this morning, there's only Tamworth and Brackley that have lost less games than us in 2024. But yes, I do still think sometimes that, people moan. But, we've done what we needed to do, and, we've obviously got the last week, big game at Spennymoor, where we want to go and perform. And then it's going to be an important summer for us.
Needs must. You say people are moaning. I don't know if it's about the performances or whatever, but when you're in a situation that Lynn were in, and it doesn't matter how you play, it's the points that are important.
Yeah, but I think just like people just get sucked in. I think I've just said to the players there, like, we'll never win, because as a full-time team, we'll never win. If we win, we should win. If we lose, we're a joke because we're full-time. We should be winning. If we don't, outplay teams all the time, we're not good enough as a full-time team. So I just think sometimes the lads have had a bit of hard press, but if there's only coming into today, there's only 8 teams in the league that have lost less games than us. Our issue is draws because we've drawn more games than anybody else in the division. But 2024, you think we lost our first 2 games away at Boston and here at home to Darlington. There's only the team that's won the title and Brackley, who were third going into today, that have lost less games than us. And since we've had this settled group and recruited, the likes of Johnny, Greg, Owen, Dylan, we've only lost twice. In one of them games, we were 3-0 up in. So I think that just shows how far we've come and how hard we've had to work. But I'm just proud of the players, really proud of the players, and I hope people will get right behind them next season so that we can be better.
Given you were down to 10, 0-0 would have been a moral victory, but then Michael Gash, we've seen him score goals like that for Lynn. One spectacular one in the Super playoff final, obviously, but and he's fantastic at doing that.
Well, yeah, he's been a very good player. He's had a good career, and when they do play it, or when he plays himself, should I say, he's generally pretty effective. So I think that goal meant a lot to him and the rest of them. We got criticised for celebrating like we won the league on Tuesday, which I think was a disgrace of a comment. considering the position that we were in. So I'm not going to say the same about them, but it meant a lot to them.
And going forward now, obviously one more to go, but I know your thoughts are certainly on next season.
Yeah, and you know, they have been for a while, but until it's mathematically done and dusted, then you've got to try and plan ahead while staying focused. So, but I don't think we're a million miles away from. You look at, you know, how the run that we've been on. We've obviously drawn with Tamworth, we drew with Scunthorpe, beat Brackley, beat Chorley, drew with Alfreton. You know, all teams that are up there or thereabouts. So I don't think we're too far away. We need to get better in certain aspects of our game, and we do need to recruit in certain areas. But you know, I've got a plan for what we need, and I don't think it's too much. But now that obviously it's all done and dusted, I'm hoping we can tie down some of the lads who are out of contract, and then we can start the merry-go-round of recruitment.
And it's striking while it's hot, isn't it? And early, isn't it, to get any new faces that you feel will add something?
Yeah, and it's the hardest part of the job, recruitment. I think naturally any manager in any club, you're going to get the odd one wrong, but the trick is to get more right than you get wrong. I think probably last summer we got way too many wrong and we were miles off it. But I think in the main, the lads who we've brought in, if you look at Dylan Crowe, Greg Taylor, George Morrison, Sam, Johnny, Owen, just off the top of my head, they've all come in and made us better. And if we can just recruit well again in the summer and add to, you know, a sound group that we've already put together, then I think we'll be all right.
Have you got a shopping list of players you want? I mean, obviously you don't get everything you want on your shopping list, but have you got a list of players you need?
Yeah, I think, well, we've identified the areas where we feel we need to strengthen, and from there you recognise, you know, players who fit what we would like, but those lists for those positions are, you know, relatively long, because you don't always get the number one target in all them positions, so you've got to have plan B, C, D, etc. So we've got an idea, but obviously the season we've still got a game. You know, some of them lads who we might be looking at could still be playing into, you know, the end of April, start of May. So yeah, we've got a plan, and we know kind of where we feel we know what we need and where we need to strengthen, and that's what we'll look to do.
You got a few loan players there. Are you a manager who likes to have a few loan players, or would you rather they're all sort of signed up to your club?
Preferably they're yours,
Yeah.
Which is why your recruitment in the off season is so important, because if you get it wrong, you end up needing more in the season. It's tough to get players from elsewhere, and that's where the loan market can be useful. I think in the main, when you take players on loan, you get some work, some don't. You know, we've had one or two that didn't quite work out that we took since I came here. But we've had more that have been good for us, like George, Owen, Greg. You know, those three in particular have done great. Castro was great for us whilst he was here. So ideally, you know, we won't be too reliant on the loan market next season, but, you know, no doubt at some stage we will have to delve into it.
When can you? What's your sort of diary say after spending more? Do you then have time off, or do you not? You're not allowed.
Well, whether I'm allowed or not, it's entirely up to me, isn't it?
No, do you know what I mean? Well, you don't have the time to do it.
No, it's I always think it's the worst time to be a manager at the end of the season, because all the stuff you like doing day to day, your training, your games, your prepping, you don't have any of that. But your phone's just non-stop, your emails are non-stop, and you're trying to recruit, and you put a lot of time and effort and energy into, you know, trying to sign players, and then you go a long way down the line, and then some of them don't come off, and you feel like you've wasted your time and your energy, but you've got to do everything you need to do. So it's a tough time, the off season, but it's probably the most important time. So obviously you'll have time to spend with family as well, and I'll definitely be going away a few times, but you know, the phone will still be on because there's no rest in this job.
And because you joined after the start of the season, it's like a footballer missing pre-season himself. You missed that massive important chunk, didn't you? He's taking over somebody else's
mess.
I was going to say it, but I thought
well, I'll say it. I have no affinity to the last manager, but it was a shambles. The way, and you look at, I mean, I was told when I came to this club, Josh Coulson couldn't play Saturday, Tuesday because he wasn't conditioned enough. He's played every game, I think, pretty much every game. Yeah. But he was neglected in the summer. That's just what we came into, and he wasn't on his own. You know, Cameron Hargreaves, Paul Jones, Carl McFadden, you know, many of the others, they weren't where they needed to be mentally, physically, organisation perspective. We were miles off it, and that makes what we've achieved. And we'll get blasted for it because, you know, like I said, people, as a full-time team, you've got a target on your back. We had it on Tuesday night. You know, full-time team winning like they won the top of the league. Well, yeah, because you have no idea what it will like to come into this building, so don't comment on it. But pre-season's massive. I think what I would say is, if I look at the teams that I've had in this league in the past, they were part-time, but they were always one of the fittest teams. Always felt we could outrun, outwork for 40 plus games anybody in the league, part-time, full-time, any of them. You know, Curzon Ashton had a brilliant season, fit team, loads of legs, could run, and they'll have a right chance if they get in the playoffs. My Farsley Celtic team, we always used to do well against the full-time best teams because we had a good pre-season. It's an important stage, your preparation, you lay down your foundations, and that's exactly what we'll do here, but we'll have more time, and I expect us to be flying next year.
Couple from me. Obviously you've got your own shopping list of players you want to bring in. Have you had any players contact you about the possibility of coming at all?
Only the ones that, you know, come through LinkedIn, you know.
Right.
So nothing worth really taking note of. I mean, you get it's crazy because you get messages and emails off players that you've never heard of, players from all over the world, players' dads. So, you know, but I think maybe we listened a little bit too much to that last summer, and that's where we ended up. So I know exactly what we need. I know who we want to go for, and we'll try and get as many of them as we can.
And obviously you've got the young lad who's on loan at Kettering to come back as well.
Well, we recalled him because we were a bit light on bodies. But yeah, I mean, we obviously signed him late on as a bit of a prospect. He's got a lot of work to do to get near it next season. But pre-season's a clean slate for everybody, and we'll just have to see where we are.
When you compare this team today, where you left Curzon, the team you had at Curzon, how close are you to that now, would you say? I mean, you'd had a year or 18 months at Curzon to get that team together, but how close are you, do you think?
I think it's an unfair question to ask, to be fair, because I think every team's different. What I would say is, you know, I built a good team at Farsley Celtic. 2 years we won a league title. You know, Curzon Ashton, I had 2 years. We built a team that's probably going to get in the playoffs in this league on one of the lowest budgets in the league. So if I'm just given time to do what I do, and I can, you know, do my job and recruit well, then over time we'll be fine.
It's different circumstances as well, isn't it? Where the clubs are sort of placed in, you know, geographically, and yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's irrelevant because I manage Northwich Victoria in Cheshire, you know, and you have to build contacts and you have to recruit. Then I moved up to Yorkshire, where I didn't really know too many people, but you build contacts and you recruit well, and I did. And then we've gone to Curzon and recruited well in a different area again. So wherever I go, I'll recruit because that's my job, and I'm not going to use, and nor should anybody else use, the fact that I'm based down in Norfolk now and managing Kings Lynn, that I can't, you know, recruit the right players, because that's what I've managed to do elsewhere, and I've got every confidence that we'll do the same again.